What if I told you that Saudi Arabia just pulled off something so unexpected, it left even top US scientists stunned? In a land known more for oil than agriculture, they've turned desert into green. Not with luck, but with invention. We're talking fossil aquifers, desalination, AI-powered farms, and crops growing in places that once couldn't grow anything. This isn't just a cool story. It's a jaw-dropping transformation that could change how the world thinks about farming. So buckle up, because by the end of this video, you'll see why this might just be the future of food. From barren sands to green fields, Saudi Arabia's vast deserts were considered inhospitable to agriculture. The arid climate and scarce water resources painted a bleak picture for farming prospects. However, through visionary leadership and innovative strategies, the nation has turned these barren sands into thriving green fields. This transformation wasn't accidental. It was the result of deliberate planning and investment in advanced agricultural technologies. By implementing large-scale irrigation projects and embracing modern farming techniques, Saudi Arabia has defied the odds. The commitment to overcoming environmental challenges has led to groundbreaking advancements. The country's efforts have not only improved food security, but also positioned it as a leader in sustainable agriculture. Global scientists, particularly from the US, have taken note of this metamorphosis. The successful greening of the desert has become a case study in resilience and innovation, inspiring similar initiatives worldwide. Turning deserts into fertile lands is not just a dream, it's a testament to human ingenuity. With the deserts now blooming, one might wonder about the source of water sustaining this agricultural revolution. Let's delve into the ancient aquifers that have played a pivotal role. Harnessing ancient waters. The role of fossil aquifers in Saudi Arabia's agricultural transformation. Hidden deep beneath the endless sands of Saudi Arabia lies a secret, one that dates back tens of thousands of years. Beneath the scorching deserts, untouched by rain for millennia, rest vast fossil aquifers. Ancient underground lakes formed during the Pleistocene era, when the Arabian Peninsula was a greener, wetter place. These precious water reserves, locked away since prehistoric times, have now become the lifeblood of Saudi Arabia's ambitious drive to cultivate the desert. By tapping into these non-renewable aquifers, Saudi Arabia achieved what once seemed impossible, transforming arid, barren landscapes into fields of wheat, vegetables, and fodder crops. Through advanced drilling techniques and deep well technology, farmers access water buried hundreds of meters below the surface. This hidden treasure has powered large-scale agriculture, allowing the kingdom not only to sustain livestock, but, for a time, to even export crops, a remarkable feat for a country dominated by desert. However, this success story comes with a critical challenge. Fossil aquifers, unlike rivers or rain-fed basins, are finite. These waters were deposited during ancient climatic periods and are not being replenished. Every drop extracted is one that can never be replaced. As agricultural demands grow, so does the risk of over-extraction, a path that could lead to the permanent depletion of these irreplaceable reserves. The question looms large: how long can this ancient gift sustain modern farming before it runs dry? Yet Saudi Arabia's approach reflects more than just exploitation of a resource. It's a testament to innovation and resilience. By blending traditional desert survival knowledge with cutting-edge technology, the nation has demonstrated how a strategic resource management can overcome environmental limitations. As one commentator aptly put it, drawing life from ancient waters, Saudi Arabia turns history into harvest. But the story doesn't end with accessing water. It's about using it wisely. In a land where every drop counts, efficient water management isn't just important, it's essential for survival. That's why Saudi Arabia has pioneered groundbreaking irrigation techniques to stretch these ancient waters further than ever imagined. Next, we'll explore how irrigation innovation, from center pivot systems to drip technologies, has become the cornerstone of desert agriculture, ensuring that every drop of fossil water fuels not just crops, but a vision for sustainable farming in one of the harshest climates on Earth. Stay with us, because in the desert, ingenuity flows where rivers never could. Revolutionizing irrigation, the center pivot system, turning deserts green. In a country where rainfall is scarce and the sun reigns supreme, finding ways to make every drop of water count is not just smart, it's essential. That's why Saudi Arabia embraced one of the most transformative innovations in modern agriculture, the center pivot irrigation system. This technology didn't just improve farming, it revolutionized how crops are grown in the heart of the desert. The center pivot system works like a giant mechanical arm, slowly rotating around a central point, spraying water evenly across the land in a perfect circle. From above, these systems create the now famous green circles that dot Saudi Arabia's desert landscape, so striking they can be seen from space. But these circles aren't just visually impressive, they're a symbol of human ingenuity conquering harsh environments. What makes this system so effective is its ability to deliver precise and uniform water distribution. In regions where water is more valuable than oil, reducing waste is critical. The center pivot method ensures that every inch of crop receives just the right amount of water, minimizing evaporation and runoff. This efficiency doesn't just conserve water, it directly boosts crop yields, making farming in arid conditions both viable and productive. Since its implementation, the center pivot system has transformed vast stretches of once barren desert into thriving farmland. Its flexibility allows farmers to grow a wide variety of crops, from wheat and barley to alfalfa and vegetables, supporting the kingdom's goal of agricultural diversification. No longer limited to small oases or water-heavy methods, Saudi Arabia has unlocked a scalable solution for large-scale farming in one of the toughest climates on Earth. This leap in irrigation technology highlights more than just a clever use of machinery. It reflects Saudi Arabia's ongoing commitment to sustainable farming. By prioritizing water efficiency and modern techniques, the nation is taking bold steps towards securing its food supply while safeguarding precious resources. As one agricultural innovator put it, innovation in irrigation turns arid lands into agricultural havens. But even with ancient aquifers and advanced irrigation systems, Saudi Arabia knows that true water security requires looking beyond the land. With natural freshwater sources limited, and the kingdom has turned its gaze towards an unlikely savior, the sea. Next, we'll dive into how desalination technology is reshaping Saudi Arabia's water landscape, turning seawater into a lifeline for both people and agriculture. Because in this desert nation, survival depends on making the impossible possible. Stay tuned, because when it comes to water, Saudi Arabia is rewriting the rules. Desalination, turning seawater into agricultural gold. Saudi Arabia faces one of the harshest climates on Earth, with no natural rivers and minimal rainfall. So, how does it sustain cities, industries, and now agriculture? The answer lies in the sea, or more specifically, in desalination. As the world's largest producer of desalinated water, Saudi Arabia has turned saltwater into a lifeline. Through cutting-edge facilities, seawater is filtered, purified, and transformed into fresh water. This water now supports both urban life and large-scale agricultural operations. It's a process once considered too expensive for farming, but Saudi innovation has made it viable. These plants now operate with greater energy efficiency, reduced environmental impact, and increasingly with renewable energy like solar and wind. By incorporating solar-powered desalination units, Saudi Arabia has taken this a step further. The integration of clean energy not only lowers costs, but also reduces the carbon footprint of producing fresh water. It's a crucial step in making desert agriculture more sustainable and less dependent on fossil fuels, a key goal in the country's Vision 2030 strategy. Perhaps most importantly, desalinated water has allowed the kingdom to shift away from overusing ancient aquifers. Instead of draining finite underground reserves, farmers can now irrigate fields using water born from seawater technology. It's a modern marvel, turning the harsh Red Sea into an agricultural enabler. Saudi Arabia isn't just desalinating water, they're desalinating their future. Environmental engineer, Dr. Layla Haroun. So far, we've seen ancient water and modern seawater help turn deserts green. But there's another kind of revolution happening, one powered not by pumps, but by pixels and processors. From drones to data, the next wave of agriculture in Saudi Arabia is being guided by the invisible hand of technology. Smart farming, integrating IoT and AI. Forget the image of traditional farming. In Saudi Arabia, tractors are getting replaced by satellite-linked sensors, and decisions are made by algorithms, not guesswork. Welcome to the era of smart farming, where every crop, drop of water, and square foot of soil is digitally monitored and optimized. Across the kingdom, farms are now equipped with IoT, Internet of Things, sensors. These devices track temperature, soil moisture, nutrient levels, and even plant health, all in real time. Farmers receive instant updates via mobile apps, allowing them to know exactly when and where to water or fertilize. This means less waste, lower costs, and higher efficiency. But the real magic happens when this data is processed by artificial intelligence. Saudi Arabia is using AI platforms that analyze historical weather data, crop behavior, and sensor feedback to make predictive decisions. This leads to hyper-efficient irrigation schedules, precise fertilizer application, and early detection of diseases, all managed digitally. And it's not just about the crops. Even livestock management is getting a tech upgrade. Smart collars monitor animal health and behavior, while automated feeders adjust nutrition based on real-time needs. It's all part of a broader movement toward precision agriculture, where technology tailors every action to maximize output and sustainability. Farming with data is the new green. Saudi Arabia is making tech the new tractor. Agri-tech specialist Omar Nasser. Technology is transforming how Saudi Arabia farms, but there's one more innovation that pushes the boundaries even further: growing crops without soil at all. In a land where arable ground is scarce, hydroponics has become a silent revolution. Let's explore how Saudi farmers are growing up, not out. Hydroponics, cultivating without soil. Imagine fields of lettuce growing not in dirt, but in nutrient-rich water tanks. That's not science fiction, that's hydroponics, and it's reshaping agriculture in Saudi Arabia. This soil-free method allows crops to grow vertically in stacked layers or horizontally in greenhouses, making it perfect for desert regions with limited land and water. By removing soil from the equation, hydroponics dramatically reduces water consumption, using up to 90% less water than traditional farming. That's a critical benefit in a country where water scarcity is a daily reality. Nutrients are dissolved directly into the water, feeding plants more efficiently and minimizing runoff or waste. In these controlled environments, crops are shielded from pests, harsh weather, and disease, meaning less pesticide use and more consistent harvests. And because hydroponics can be set up in warehouses, greenhouses, or even in urban areas, it opens the door for year-round production, regardless of climate. Saudi Arabia is now investing heavily in hydroponic systems, both public and private. Major retail chains and restaurants are sourcing greens grown just a few kilometers away in clean, tech-enabled farms. This move not only increases food security, but also reduces dependency on imports. It's a scalable, sustainable solution, and it's already feeding the future. In the heart of the desert, Saudi Arabia is growing vegetables without touching soil. That's not just smart, that's revolutionary. Urban agriculture expert Sarah Khatib. From aquifers to AI, desalination to data, Saudi Arabia is proving that there's more than one way to grow in the desert. But the next chapter goes even deeper, into the very seeds being sown. Up next, we explore how scientists are breeding crops to fight the heat, thrive in drought, and build resilience from the ground up. Drought-resistant crops, breeding for resilience. Saudi Arabia isn't just changing the way it farms, it's also changing what it farms. In a region where rainfall is rare and heat is extreme, traditional crops simply don't cut it. That's where drought-resistant crops come into play. And Saudi scientists are leading the charge. Through years of research and genetic innovation, Saudi agriculture programs have developed heat-tolerant, low-water crops like wheat, barley, and sorghum. These crops are bred to survive in temperatures that kill most conventional varieties, with roots that go deeper and leaves that retain moisture longer. They thrive where others wilt, making them ideal for desert conditions. But this isn't just trial and error. Saudi researchers are using genetic modification and selective breeding to create crop strains that perform better in less water. That means more yield per drop and more food security per acre. These advances are being implemented across experimental farms and increasingly in commercial fields. And it's not stopping with grains. There's active development of drought-tolerant vegetables and even fruits, which could make once impossible produce viable in local markets. All of this reduces dependency on imports and enhances local supply chain stability, which is vital for a nation aiming to feed itself under challenging climate conditions. If you can grow food in the desert, you can grow it anywhere. Saudi Arabia is rewriting what's possible in crop science. Agricultural biotech researcher, Dr. Mona Al-Fahad. The crops may be new, but Saudi Arabia isn't just focused on what's in the fields. It's focused on how those fields are managed. From emissions to waste, every detail is being examined under a green lens. Let's dive into how sustainability isn't just a buzzword in the kingdom. It's becoming a farming philosophy. Sustainable practices, balancing growth and conservation. Turning the desert green is impressive, but doing it sustainably? That's next level. Saudi Arabia knows that rapid agricultural growth without environmental checks could backfire. So now, sustainability is baked into every farming plan, from the tools in the soil to the power behind the pumps. First, there's a major push toward renewable energy in agriculture. Solar-powered irrigation systems, greenhouse lighting, and even desalination plants are being powered by the sun. With vast solar potential, Saudi farms are increasingly operating off-grid, lowering both costs and emissions. Second, wastewater recycling is becoming a core practice. Instead of letting urban wastewater go to waste, it's treated and repurposed for agriculture. This closes the loop on water use and reduces strain on natural resources, especially as aquifers and desalination systems are carefully balanced. Then there's the rise of organic farming and eco-certification. More farms are shifting away from harsh chemical pesticides and adopting natural solutions: compost, biological pest control, and crop rotation. These practices improve soil health while minimizing environmental damage. Finally, afforestation and reforestation projects are spreading across the country. Trees are being planted not just for shade or beauty, but to reduce CO2, combat desertification, and revitalize ecosystems. These long-term projects are helping reverse land degradation and improve air quality. Saudi Arabia is proving that sustainability isn't just for rainy countries, it's for smart ones. From advanced water systems to eco-friendly farming, sustainability is taking root. But what really powers this green transformation? People. And Saudi Arabia is investing heavily in the one resource that makes everything else work: knowledge. Up next, we'll explore how education and research are shaping the next generation of desert farmers and agri-scientists. Educational initiatives. Cultivating knowledge. No agricultural revolution is complete without the people behind it, and Saudi Arabia is making sure its farmers, scientists, and policymakers are prepared for the future. From state-of-the-art universities to hands-on training, the country is creating a knowledge-powered farming culture. Leading the way are new agricultural universities and research centers. These institutions focus on desert farming, biotechnology, and water efficiency. Students are trained in everything from crop genetics to AI-based farming tools, equipping them with skills to manage future food systems in challenging environments. Beyond academia, on-the-ground training programs are reaching farmers directly. Through workshops, extension services, and digital platforms, farmers are learning how to use modern tools like IoT sensors, automated irrigation systems, and hydroponic kits. This ensures that innovations don't stay locked in labs. They reach the fields where they matter most. There's also an emphasis on international collaboration. Saudi Arabia is partnering with universities and research bodies from the US, Europe, and Asia. These joint projects enable shared learning, fast-tracked innovation, and exposure to global best practices, which are then tailored to local needs. And for future farmers, the government is investing in youth engagement, bringing agriculture into schools, funding agri-startups, and showcasing farming as a high-tech, impactful career. It's not just about growing food anymore, it's about growing minds and futures in the heart of the desert. To farm in the desert, you need more than tools. You need training, and Saudi Arabia is building a generation ready to lead. Education strategist Aisha Al-Rashid. Educated farmers, sustainable methods, drought-proof crops. All these pieces are building a future far beyond oil. But here's the big twist. Agriculture isn't just a food mission in Saudi Arabia anymore. It's an economic one. Let's explore how farming is becoming a pillar of the kingdom's new diversified future. Economic diversification. Agriculture as a new powerhouse. For decades, Saudi Arabia's economy revolved around a single word: oil. But now the nation is charting a broader, more sustainable course. And agriculture is at the center of that transformation. What was once seen as an unlikely bet is now emerging as a key pillar in the kingdom's long-term economic vision. Under Vision 2030, agriculture is more than just about food. It's a driver for jobs, exports, and innovation. As farming expands in both volume and variety, new opportunities are opening up, especially in rural regions. Entire communities are being revitalized as agribusinesses, food processing plants, and logistics hubs grow around these green zones. Export potential is rising too. With hydroponics, greenhouse farming, and smart irrigation, Saudi Arabia is producing surplus crops like dates, wheat, and even strawberries, and shipping them abroad. This not only diversifies income streams, but positions the kingdom as a serious player in global food markets. And with private investment encouraged, startups and agricultural entrepreneurs are jumping in. Saudi-grown organic produce now lines local supermarkets and is being exported to the Gulf, Europe, and beyond. The message is clear. Agriculture is no longer a side industry. It's a strategic asset. From oil fields to wheat fields, Saudi Arabia is proving that sustainability can be profitable. Economic development analyst Salim Haddad. As agriculture rises at home, Saudi Arabia isn't keeping its success to itself. Instead, it's sharing its innovations with the world. From Africa to Central Asia, countries are turning to the kingdom for help in solving their own food security challenges. The desert playbook is going global, and Saudi Arabia is becoming a true agricultural ally. Global collaboration, sharing innovations beyond borders. Saudi Arabia's transformation isn't just national, it's becoming internationally influential. With its breakthroughs in desert farming, water technology, and smart agriculture, the kingdom is now forming global partnerships to help other arid and semi-arid regions facing similar challenges. Countries like Egypt, Jordan, and Sudan are already collaborating with Saudi agricultural scientists to share techniques on managing water resources, improving crop yields, and deploying center-pivot irrigation. Joint ventures with African nations are underway to replicate successful Saudi methods in areas plagued by drought and famine. The kingdom is also investing in global food security forums and knowledge exchange platforms. It's sending agricultural experts abroad, hosting international summits, and even offering technical support to UN development projects. This positions Saudi Arabia not just as a farming country, but as a knowledge exporter. By helping others develop resilient farming models, Saudi Arabia builds stronger diplomatic ties and expands its influence in global sustainability discussions. It's a win-win. Countries gain crucial support, and Saudi Arabia cements its status as an innovator in the fight against climate-driven food crises. Saudi Arabia isn't just growing food, it's growing relationships. It's turning expertise into influence. Global Agriculture Advisor, Dr. Nabila Samari. But even as Saudi Arabia looks outward, it knows challenges still lie ahead at home. Climate unpredictability, water limitations, and long-term sustainability remain real concerns. Let's talk about what comes next, the potential risks, the critical questions, and why this agricultural revolution must keep evolving to stay alive. Challenges ahead, ensuring long-term sustainability. Despite remarkable progress, Saudi Arabia's agricultural transformation is not without its risks. The very foundation of its early success, reliance on non-renewable fossil aquifers, has limits. Overuse could lead to irreversible depletion, threatening food security gains if alternative water solutions don't continue to scale. Climate change poses another layer of uncertainty. As temperatures rise and rainfall becomes even scarcer, new pressures are emerging. Pest patterns shift, growing seasons change, and even desert-adapted crops could face unforeseen hurdles. Saudi farmers and scientists must stay ahead with ongoing climate adaptation research. There's also the challenge of managing population growth and rising food demand. Urban expansion, economic growth, and increased meat consumption all put more pressure on the land. The need to produce more food on less land, using less water, means every new solution must be more efficient than the last. Finally, there's the balancing act between modernization and tradition. As technology accelerates, it's critical to ensure that small-scale farmers are not left behind, and that rural communities stay engaged, educated, and equipped. Without this, the green transformation could become a tale of two farm systems. True sustainability isn't just surviving today, it's preparing for tomorrow. Saudi Arabia knows this story is still being written. Climate policy analyst Yusuf Halabi. And now we reach the final chapter. A story that started with barren dunes and water scarcity has become something bigger, a global inspiration. The lessons learned in Saudi Arabia's deserts aren't just national victories, they're blueprints for the world. Let's wrap up with the powerful message this transformation sends to every corner of the planet. A model for the world, lessons from the desert. Saudi Arabia's agricultural success is no longer just a national achievement, it's a beacon for arid regions worldwide. What once seemed impossible, farming in a land without rivers, with scorching heat and salty soil, is now reality. And it didn't happen by chance. It happened through vision, investment, and a relentless belief in innovation. The blend of ancient knowledge and futuristic technology, from aquifers to AI, desalination to drone farming, proves that even the harshest environments can be tamed with the right approach. It's a message to countries struggling with climate change, food shortages, and resource limits. You can grow where no one thinks possible. Saudi Arabia's story offers hope and a roadmap. It shows that transformation takes time, partnerships, and a willingness to rewrite the rules. It also shows that resilience is a mindset, and that the greatest power a nation can have isn't oil or money, but the ability to adapt and lead. From green circles in the desert to crops growing in hydroponic towers, the desert's bloom isn't just a local miracle, it's a global masterclass in sustainable development. And if Saudi Arabia can do it, maybe the rest of the world can too. The desert didn't bloom by accident, it bloomed with intention. That's the lesson Saudi Arabia now offers the world. UN agriculture consultant Layla Haddad. And that's the full picture. Saudi Arabia, a country known for its vast deserts and scorching heat, has pulled off something most people thought was impossible. From tapping into ancient fossil aquifers, to building the world's largest desalination systems, to using AI and hydroponics to grow crops without soil, they've completely redefined what agriculture can look like in one of the harshest climates on Earth. What really makes this story so powerful is that it's not just about technology. It's about vision. It's about a country choosing to invest in knowledge, in sustainability, and in its future. From educating the next generation of farmers and scientists to reducing water waste, and even exporting fresh produce. Saudi Arabia has gone from importing food to influencing how the rest of the world could grow theirs. And perhaps the most exciting part? They're sharing their discoveries, collaborating with nations facing similar climate challenges, showing that innovation doesn't have to stay within borders. This isn't just a national achievement, it's a blueprint, a model that shows what can happen when determination, technology, and smart planning come together. So what do you think? Could this kind of system be used in your country? Could this change how the world handles climate, water scarcity, and food security? Let us know in the comments. We genuinely want to hear your thoughts. And if this story inspired you even a little, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Thank you for watching. And remember, the future isn't something we wait for. It's something we build. See you in the next one.